Hello and welcome everyone. This is the New Year New Career Challenge, and I am Rhonda Anstead. I am the founder of Be the Change Career Consulting and the creator of my career design studio. So I have just launched my career design studio, so I am incredibly excited to get the power in the hands of people who are looking to transform their lives. And so this New Year, New Career Challenge is a way to kind of ease people into it, help people understand what it is, what it can do for them, and get some tools and tips on working through getting the kind of work that you want and the kind of life that you're excited by. So, just real quick, let me tell you a little bit about me and about my background. I got my undergrad in international studies and my master's in social work, and just a few years ago I finished my doctorate in management. And most of my career has been focused on social impact, social services. I've been a social worker. I have been in the nonprofit world. I have been in international development, and basically I've been looking for solutions to I feel like Garrison Keillor, some of life's persistent questions. Basically hoping to find ways that people can come more into their power, more, and find joy and happiness in their lives. And my doctorate program, I focused on social enterprises, so businesses that had a social good and a social impact, as well as to be able to make a profit. And so that's one of the things that I am excited to share, is what some of my life learnings and lessons have taught me, and how I think they can help you too. So my belief is that we all deserve a meaningful life and a career. I believe that we are much more effective when we are doing work that we love and making a contribution that we're proud of. I think these things are really important. And in my own way, this is how I see my ability to make the world a better place, is to help individuals find their passion, find work that makes them happy, and especially those in the social services, in the nonprofit world, the people who want to make the world a better place, to be able to get them in a situation where they can do that, where they can make their biggest impact. They can leverage who they are, what they love. And whether that is for the environment, or for animals, or for children, or for opera singers, that they're able to really make the impact that they're proud of. And although I work mostly with people in the social impact field, those aren't only the people that I'm working with. And what I have found is that this process that I've developed to help people find meaningful work, to find joy in the day-to-day things that they're doing, and to make an impact, that it resonates with a lot of different people. And so, again, you don't have to consciously or specifically want to make the world better somehow to take advantage of what I'm going to share. And the other thing that I believe in is that in many ways we all want to make something better somehow. It's kind of a blanket statement, but and being the doctor that I am, I try to make things as true as possible. But so yeah, probably not everybody wants to make the world better, but most of us do. And there's just lots of ways to do that. So I want you to find your path, to make your contribution, to find your happiness in work and in life. So this is a very holistic process. It's not just about finding a job. It is about designing the career that you want that will support the life that you want to live. So these little 10-day boot campy things are for people who either want to keep a New Year's resolution, to fix something in their careers, or to find a new job, or are just looking to see what kind of change they can make in their work and in their lives. So even though I'm calling this a boot camp, it's not designed to be exhausting or painful. I just want to make that clear. It's designed to be effective. It can be kind of intense, but hopefully it is not painful and exhausting. We'll start with the basics, and then we'll get more advanced as we progress. But I think probably going forward, I'm just going to call this the New Year, New Career Challenge. It's a challenge. How can we challenge ourselves? So, let's get started. And so just curious if anyone who is listening knows a major reason why people are not able to keep, why some people are able to keep their resolutions and other people aren't. It's probably not what you think. I mean, there's lots of articles flooding the internet just talking about how to keep those New Year's resolutions and how to not give up and how to stay focused and use your willpower. But really, making successful change is not about discipline or willpower or even commitment. And this applies not to just New Year's resolutions, but any life change. People have the best chance for keeping a resolution, for making a life change, if they can tap into some sense of play. So we want to make this process fun. There's a lot of research around this. The more we enjoy something, the more we're going to do it. So if you enjoy your work, you're going to do more of that. And you'll probably be more interested in growing and expanding your abilities. So that includes the process of finding the kind of work that you want to do. Because willpower, there's interesting research on this. By the way, I'm a big neuroscience nerd. So I read lots of articles and books about our brains and why we think and do the things that we do. And one of the things that I've learned is that willpower is really like a muscle in that it can get strained and tired out. It's also like a muscle. If you use it appropriately, then it gets stronger, but it's got its limits. You can't willpower through everything. Playing, on the other hand, can keep you going throughout the night, way past the point of normal endurance. I don't know how many people have been playing a game and then they look at a clock and they realize, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. How'd that happen? And that is the power of play. Even when your eyes are gritty and you know you need to go to bed. You're not ready to turn away because you haven't conquered the last challenge. So that's what I want us to tap into. And that's why I don't want to call this a boot camp. I want this to be a challenge. Because here is what the research says can make things fun. Number 1, instant feedback. Progress. How am I doing? Understanding what's working and what's not. having it's kind of like playing that game warmer, colder as kids, like knowing exactly, am I going towards something or am I moving away from it? So that kind of feedback turns things into a game, and can give it a sense of play. So here's another thing that's interesting. It is a series of increasing challenges. So often when people think of work, there's this myth that people don't want to work hard, that we want things to be easy. But the research shows something very different, that we thrive in times of challenges. It has to be a certain kind of challenge. It's got to be something that you can actually win. And so if you're in a no-win situation, you're not going to like that. But if there's something that if you know that if you just tweak something, you'll be able to figure it out, then that can add that sense of fun, that sense of grit and stick-to-itiveness that happens when you're playing a really interesting, challenging game. Number 3, some kind of reward system and some kind of celebratory something. This taps into our dopamine system. And dopamine is one of the little pleasure neurochemicals. So if we're on a dopamine high, then life is great. It's also the chemical that is highly related to addiction. And so, too much is not a good thing. But if we can tap into that to keep us going and moving towards our goals, if we can, not necessarily get addicted, but get excited about working towards something that's tough and challenging, and when we have this instant feedback, again, makes the process more fun, makes it more effective, makes us more productive. So, the fourth thing that can make certain projects fun is to connect to some kind of epic story. A lot of video games and computer games are based on that. So what is we need to save the world, we need to save the princess, we need to save our village, we need to save the universe. I mean, all of these epic stories of heroes conquering things against all odds. That sense of being connected to something bigger than ourselves, super effective. And the last thing that I see is important in making things fun is this concept called fun failures. And so I just heard a little ping, so I don't know if that means that something's going wrong. So hopefully everything's, I'm not really great at troubleshooting things on the fly, but if you can't hear me, my apologies. I will make it up to you somehow. But, okay, number 5. This concept of fun failure. This I just found out about by reading Jane McGonigal's book, Reality is Broken. Fabulous read. She also wrote a book called Super Better, also a great read, about how to gamify your life, how to make things more fun. And some researchers, the research that she quoted, were looking at people's reaction during this one computer game, and they realized when they failed that the respondents, the research subjects who were playing this game, responded in a very peculiar way. They responded with signs of increasing excitement and determination. Their heart rate increased, but there was also other indicators of joy and delight. And so they started looking like, why would they feel that when they just messed up? Well, it turns out that this game, when you failed, there was some goofy little computer animation that happened that made them laugh, and from that place, then there was a desire to figure out what happened and to start and do it again. And so that's one of the things that we want to take forward is when we feel like that we made a mistake and we messed up, that we give ourselves some kind of goofy mental image so we can turn that around to basically transform that sense of shame and frustration, anger into all right, let's figure out how we can do this better. So now different things are fun to different people. So this is the first part of our challenge. I want you to think of a game or an activity that kept you engaged way past what was reasonable. And so just pause for a moment. What have you done? Could be playing cards, could be a hobby, but something that you really loved doing. And if you feel desirous, feel free to share in the comments, and so we can just get an idea of the different things that people did that gave them that sense of flow, that sense of just being wrapped up in a whole other world. So what did you enjoy? Now reflect on why you were engaged. Did you like the story? Were the characters funny? Again, that's more for like computer games, but what was challenging in it? How was it challenging? And did you like the story? What happened when you failed? What did you do when you failed? So those are some of the things that I want you to stew on. If you can come up with something now, that's great. We'll reflect on this later. But I want to tell you how I have used this concept of gamification, of making career development and the job search fun and engaging, challenging, but in a good way. And that is through basically my Career Design Studio, which is a gamified online self-paced coaching program. So it basically, you conceptualize yourself as an artist. And my Career Design Studio is your place and your time, your virtual space to create your career, to design your career and your life, and then build that in order to live in it. And so the metaphor is that of a mosaic. So you start with the pieces of who you are. Your personality, your preferences, your values, the contribution you want to make, your purpose, your skills, your dreams, your goals, your hopes for the future, your picture of an ideal life, what would be balanced to you, what would be an ideal day, what are your strengths, what are your challenges. Looking at all of those like mosaic tiles. And here's a fun fact, that mosaic tiles, the original, I think it's Italian, no, Latin word, is tessera. So your tessera are the raw materials that you have to work with. And if you're familiar at all with mosaics, there are lots of different kinds, just like there's lots of different kinds of careers, lots of different kinds of lives. So you are going to create something based on what you already have, who you are. It's kind of like making a mosaic out of found objects. And so you take a look at that, you see what's there, and then you figure out what kind of design you can make out of that. I'm going to sketch it out originally. I'm just going to see what it looks like first, play around with it. Then you're going to actually turn it into design and commit to it. This is what I'm going to focus on. And then you're going to take your tools to actually start building it out. And then once you've created your career mosaic, then you can add it to your portfolio where you keep all of your other accomplishments. So my career design studio is set up in basically 5 parts. That the first is your raw materials. So that's who you are. That's a bunch of different assessments, activities, and things to think about. The next stage is the napkin sketch, where like I might want to do this, I might want to do that. Let's play around and see what feels best for me. Then you've got your career design, which is where you're like, okay, I'm going to commit to this one image, and then you're going to do all the research that you need to do to figure out how you're going to make that happen. And then the career creation tools, that is when you start looking at resume, your accomplishments, how to talk about yourself, the elevator pitch, interview prep, salary negotiations. Those are all your career creation tools. And as you go through each step by step, then the program starts building a virtual mosaic based on who you are. And you have to get all the way through to the end of my career creation tools in order to see the message that this mosaic has for you. And so those are some of the reward systems built in. Again, the epic story, that sense of you as an artist, the rewards after every single activity you complete, you get more tessera, and that there's feedback in how you're doing, there's increasing challenges. So that is what I'm bringing to this piece, is that concept of career design. But I want you to think how you can add to this process by making it more fun. So what are your rewards? Is there some kind of song or move or signal that you can give yourself that when you succeed? And so again, there's been some really interesting research on building habits and creating these little kind of micro gestures of celebration. And so again, it can be a sound or a word like woohoo. It can be a movement like, hands in the air, head thrown back. It can be a little dance move. It could be a snippet of your favorite song. So just think about what something can do, either a huge external, do a little dance, or even something in your head, a little mental woohoo. That's what I want you to start using when you start doing these activities and making progress. So that, again, taps into that dopamine system, gives you the energy to keep going. So that's challenge number 2. First challenge is what kind of games are most interesting to you? What can you learn from that? Challenge number 2 is your celebratory reward gesture. And then I also want you to think about how can you make failure fun? And some of the things that when I've been exploring this, I grew up with Looney Tunes, and so there are lots of cartoons, especially with Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, where whenever the coyote fails, it is spectacular and pretty friggin' hilarious. Even that little, trombone, the wah, wah. If there's something that you can just imagine when you trip up a little bit, that's just like, okay, and just a reminder, it's not a big deal. You can do this. So that's, so basically, that's what we've got as far as your workout for today. I probably should have said this at the beginning, but let me tell you what the structure of this challenge is going to be. So you're going to get 3 days of prep, because to succeed, you need to have a strong foundation. You don't want to go full throttle. This stuff is hard. If it were easy, you wouldn't be here. there wouldn't be 70% of people in the United States and even around the world are disengaged at work. That is a true stat. And that's because thinking through what you want to do, what really makes your heart sing, means that sometimes you gotta face some scary stuff, some disappointments. So you want to be prepared for that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 3 days of different activities to get you prepared for accomplishing what you want to do. And then on day 4, you can sign up. So I don't recommend that you sign up for my Career Design Studio yet, because I want you to get the most out of it. So 3 days of prep, then you've got the 7-day free trial. And so during that time, that's when you're really going to work those activities and those exercises. And so I've intentionally made this on a Friday. So if you've got a typical American work week, you've got the weekend to just dive in. So again, the goal is for you to get the most out of the 7-day free trial. And if my Career Design Studio works for you, then, and you want to keep it going, then you can convert it to a subscription service. $19.95 a month. And you can cancel at any time. There's no minimum. And so again, this is a way to kind of coach yourself. Cost-effective way to ask all the questions that I would ask you if we were working face-to-face together. So because it covers every activity I use with my clients, and then there's some bonus stuff there too. And so basically, the other thing to know is every activity, it's based on best practices, what actually works in helping people find jobs. It is also based on neuroscience research, because I'm a nerd, and will set you up for a successful career transition. Now, at the end of the boot camp, at the end of this challenge, if you want to continue working with me, and if working with a group is a good fit for you, then you can sign up for your Career Design Studio. Now, this is a 6-week webinar workshop. Comes with a free subscription to my Career Design Studio. Starts on the evening of January 18th, so the day that this boot camp wraps up. But there's also recordings that you can listen to later. So I will provide links for more information for both of these at the end once I sign up, and Facebook does its thing, and this goes on my page. So again, I'm not quite sure how this works. Fingers crossed it's working okay. And but thank you for joining. If you've got any questions, please leave them in a comment. I will refer to them later. I'll address them tomorrow. And if this didn't work out, then I'm just gonna re-record this whole thing and just upload it as a video. So let's have fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with as a way to keep you going with your job search. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye.